I'm Ken the Metal Professor. You are listening to WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. It's time for the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, and what I have for you tonight is an audio recap of New Generation Wrestling's show, A Wrestling Story, from last night down in Crawfordsville, Indiana. So 2 weeks ago, if you were listening to this show, you heard me interview Abel Robles and Luis Rojas talking about this event and his match with Jeremy Hadley coming up during the show, and so you'll hear the outcome of that. It was the main event. So this is a recap, audio coverage of me at the event, getting you some sounds of what's going on, the introductions. You'll hear a 10-bell salute for some people that have recently passed away. You'll hear the intro match, bits and pieces of all the matches up till the main event. During the main event, Jeremy Hadley broke his foot. So, Jeremy, hope you get better soon from that injury so that you can get back out there and take off after Luis Rojas a little bit more. Anyway, this is New Generation Wrestling Show, A Wrestling Story, in a compressed form from Crawfordsville, Indiana last night. This is Ken the Metal Professor, and welcome to this audio recap of New Generation Wrestling Presents A Wrestling Story. This is, I think, the last wrestling event I'm going to get to before Christmas in the end of the year, and so I plan on enjoying it, and I will be capturing sound all through the night to compress down into a nice little recap for you, so that hopefully you can enjoy it from afar. The show is being held, as usual for NGW, in the National Guard Armory in Crawfordsville, Indiana. So it's been, about a little over 2-hour drive to get down here and get set up, but it's worth it. Everybody here is super friendly, and it's going to be a good show. The room is already full with 40 minutes left until bell time, so I'm going to chime back in here when things get underway. We're just a couple of minutes away from a pre-show match. It looks like there's going to be some new faces here at NGW tonight. Charlie Cruel will be making her NGW debut. And I also saw Douglas Stout walking around. I'm normally used to seeing him at RCW, Revolution Championship Wrestling. So I'm interested to see what he has going on here at NGW. Also on tonight's show, A Wrestling Story. We'll have the next chapter or possibly conclusion in the saga of Luis Rojas and Jeremy Hadley. 2 weeks ago, I had Luis Rojas in the studio, and he told his side of things. And if you missed that conversation, you can go back and catch it by looking up the NWIWRAP YouTube channel, NWIWRAP, and looking for the last couple of recent episodes. And sit down and make yourself comfortable and listen to it all.
Crawfordsville, good-looking group tonight. To a wrestling story, NGW. Give yourselves a round of applause coming out here tonight. This is the Christmas show, so things are a little bit weird backstage now. Santa Gideon's back there. There's a whole bunch of wrestlers lined up, ready to sit on his knee and ask for a title shot. So one thing I want to bring everybody's attention to, we got a flyer sitting on all of the chairs here. Did you guys see the flyer? If you guys come here next month, you're going to be disappointed. The show's not here next month. So January the 26th, we want to get you guys to the fairgrounds over on Park Avenue.
The show is underway. The pre-show match, kind of like the wrestling version of an opening act out here to get the crowd worked up before the main show starts. This crowd's a little sleepy, so they might need it. We have a tag team match almost in front of us. One set of wrestlers that I'm not familiar with, and the other two is an interesting combination. El Muchacho with a Santa hat, and his partner, who came out wearing a cowboy hat and chaps, but with wrestling tights underneath. Chris Smith is the ref in the ring. Let's get the introductions. Introductions are how I learn who these people are too.
Ladies and gentlemen, this first match is in the tag team division. In one quarter, we have the team of Angelo, Colorado, and Tommy Gunn, the Musso.
Angelo, Colorado, and Tommy Gunn are team number one. They've already been told that they suck.
And their opponents, the team of Big T, Thomas Moore, and El Muchacho.
Big T, Thomas Moore, is the third mystery man, and El Muchacho. Big T has exchanged his cowboy hat for El Muchacho's Santa hat. El Muchacho is about to come off the top rope. Elbow drop. And there's your 3 count for the win.
Your winners of the match, the team of El Muchacho and Big T, Thomas Moore.
There you go. Pre-show match, El Muchacho and Big T, Thomas Moore, coming away with the victory. You can tell the main show is underway because Mr. Ron Butcher is headed for the ring to take over ring announcing duties for the rest of the evening. The participants in the last match are still standing around the ring. They had sportsmanlike handshakes all around.
Merry Christmas! I hate starting shows off like this, but recently we've had 3 great people in the world of wrestling pass away, and any time they pass away, we hold a memorial for them in form of what we call a 10-bell salute. Dynamite Kid, how many of those know who Dynamite Kid is? I know Marcus, you definitely do. He was one half of the tag team, the British Bulldogs with Davey Boy Smith, back in the WWF days. They held most of the Hearts training in the Stu Hart's dungeon and come out of there and won a lot of championships. Larry the Axe Innick. Anybody remember that name? Yep. Larry the Axe Innick, more probably known named Kurt, Mr. Perfect Innick. AWA, WWF, WCW, to name a few of the places he wrestled in. And the one that saddens me probably the most was the True Traditions, the exotic one, Rob Kincaid. Now, if anybody's been with NWIWRAP for a while, Rob was an instrumental part in the beginnings of NWIWRAP when we were doing shows in Burnsville, Indiana. He and his tag team partner, Skip Radisson, known as Locked and Loaded, won several NWIWRAP tag team championships over the years. Rob went on as Skip, Rob went on more singles competition around different federations all around the state, held several titles everywhere, including NWA World Television Championship. He was a great man. We all love him. This team right here at NGW, he was a hometown guy. He was one of us. Plain and simple. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please rise as we salute all of our former comrades with a 10-bell salute. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a fantastic show. You see most of the guys out here right now cannot pay tribute to all of our fallen comrades. You will see everybody in this ring later on. We have a brand new wrestler debuting tonight. Beautiful Hunter Charlie Pool's going to be out later on. It's going to be a fantastic show. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we might as well get this started. Crawfordsville, Indiana, are you ready? I said somebody scream!
So, right at the start of the show, we had a recurrence of one of the special wrestling traditions, the 10-bell salute, in honor of the passing of some national stars, Larry the Axe Hennig and the Dynamite Kid, and also local and regional favorite, Mr. Rob Kincaid. So all the performers came out from the back, stood around the ring. You heard the 10-bell salute. And now the first match of the main body of the show is about to get underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the New Generation Wrestling Tag Team Championship. Introducing first, he hails from Florida, Ace Anderson. His tag team partner, ladies and gentlemen, hails from Jamestown, Mississippi, Excalibur. Ladies and gentlemen, their opponents, they are the current NWIWRAP Tag Team Champions from Chester, England, Drex Odell. His partner, ladies and gentlemen, from St. Louis, Michigan, TK0. Ladies and gentlemen, they are Pinnacle FC.
Well, we're starting off with a bang here at NGW. We've got the tag champs Pinnacle FC, Drex Odell and TK0, taking on Excalibur and Ace Anderson. Ace has asked for an extra minute to prepare. He's not quite ready. TK0 has been in peril for a while in the hands of Excalibur and Ace Anderson. You can hear the crowd trying to rally him. He's finally got some momentum over to the corner and does tag in Drex Odell, who is going to town with clotheslines on everybody in reach. And with one last clothesline, assisted by TK0, they pin Excalibur. So Pinnacle FC remain tag team champions. Ace Anderson is having a moment of delusion outside the ring, celebrating as if his team had won. But I think he now got the memo, and Ace Anderson and Excalibur walk to the back without the tag team titles. Ron Butcher is in the ring with a little bag of Christmas goodies, giving out WWE figurines to some of the kids at ringside, and he's been interrupted by High Society. Young Money says there's no man back there that can beat him. And cue Charlie Cruel.
Ladies and gentlemen, Young Money sent out an invitation to anyone in the back
Young Money's learned that open challenges may or may not go as you expect. He said no man in the back can beat him, so out came Charlie Cruel. See if maybe a woman could do the job. Charlie Cruel got in some offense, and it went back and forth a little bit. Young Money got some of his own offense in, and then she got in some more offense. But at the end there, Charlie Cruel attempted a tilt-a-whirl takedown. It worked, but Young Money rebounded and gave her a power slam. Now Young Money and Thomas Keith are about to do a little more damage. But Lawrence Bonpafo and Kenneth James came out to even things up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, he hails from Pittsburgh, Florida. He's accompanied to the ring by Miss Nicole, the self-made man, Douglas Stout. His opponent, ladies and gentlemen, from Greencastle, Indiana, Chris Gordon.
For the third match, we have Douglas Stout, accompanied by Nicole, against Chris Gordon. Clearly, Chris Gordon is the local favorite. Douglas Stout is giving Chris Gordon the opportunity to back out. He's not going to be held responsible for any damage done. And maybe Chris Gordon would be better served just going back out through the ropes, walking out the stairs. I think you know what Chris Gordon's answer is. Oh, and Gordon almost got him with a quick roll-up, which he might regret. Chris Gordon is giving up maybe a foot in height and possibly about 50 pounds in body weight to Douglas Stout. So he started off the match by trying to be quicker and smarter, and it worked for a while. But eventually things caught up to him, and Douglas Stout's been handling him pretty easily ever since then. But Gordon has perseverance, and he won't stay down for the 3 count. Well, just a moment ago, Douglas Stout gave Christopher Gordon a neck breaker and then encouraged the crowd to clap and give Christopher Gordon some hope. And that may have been a mistake, because now Christopher Gordon has kind of sprung into a comeback. The tilt-a-whirl head scissors and a face kick. And he went up to the top rope, but then Douglas Stout grabbed him off the top rope and now has introduced him to the mat. Mr. Stout seems winded. All he wanted was a smooch from Nicole at ringside. Now he's turned his attention back to Chris Gordon, who waited and pounced. And a 3 count for Chris Gordon. See, guys, don't get distracted by the ladies. Nicole is looking at Douglas Stout like, did you really lose? As Chris Gordon exited the ring, Brentley Alexander Dawson came into the ring.
Pick up like half your size. You sweaty. Go ahead and sit down. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's all right. Go ahead.
BAD is lecturing Douglas Stout on his performance. He brought in a folding chair and has now asked Mr. Stout to sit down in the chair.
I just watched it. I watched everything. He's got a lot of talent. It's just not refined. It needs to be refined. You understand? You want to win, right? You want to win. You want to win. You want to win. You want stuff like this. Here, go ahead. Go ahead. You want that. Everybody wants to win at the end of the day. Just like you. So here's what's going to happen. You make you an alpha. You understand? A lot of talent. Without apologies. You understand?
I sense a kick to the face coming here.
Join me. I got Justin Myers already. You join me. I promise you. I'm not going to get you a belt. However, I will get you wins. Wins that can get you this. Not this particularly, but a title. Gold is gold. That's absolutely right. So, with that being said, what's it going to be? Huh? Shut up! We all want to win. That's what we're here for. We all want to win. Don't listen to any of these people. None of them are winning. None of you can do what this man can do. Not a single one truck fire anywhere in here. Not a single one of you. What's it gonna be? Huh?
BAD has basically offered that Douglas Stout can be his protege.
All right.
And they've shaken on it.
That's teamwork. That's what wins matches. That's what wins titles. Do you understand? Go ahead. You go ahead. Go to the back. Relax. Do you understand? You got a lot to think about. As for the rest of you, by all means, I'll see you later tonight. I actually had a title match tonight. Just to prove a point that this title belongs on my waist and no one else's.
There is a lot of traffic in the entryway here at NGW. As Brentley Alexander Dawson was making to leave the ring, Santa Gideon has come out and walked up towards the ring. So far, no interaction between Santa Gideon and BAD.
You got beat by someone better than you. Besides, double the talent. Do you understand? Justin Myers isn't here tonight. But he did tell me to give you a message. Actually, he told me you gift. Alright? He wanted a gift. Go ahead. Give him his gift. Give this fat man his gift.
I have no idea what's going on here, but a man painted head to toe in green has come out to Grinch music. Oh, and he's helping BAD beat down Santa Gideon now. And I guess this is a match. Ref Zorn's in the ring and he called for a bell. It's Santa versus the Grinch. Well, Santa speared the Grinch, and it's all over already.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Commissioner Nina Valentine reminds Justin Myers that she had told him he had to be here for this event, and he's not show up, and so she's made an ultimatum that if he doesn't show up at the January event, he's going to get stripped of his title. And now, see, I told you the entryway was busy. And now we have Pinnacle FC coming to the ring with bags of gifts.
You will be receiving a gift from Santa Gideon.
So now we have Santa Gideon and little Pinnacle FC elves.
If you're over the age of 10 and you just want a picture with Santa, you may do that as well. Kids 10 and under only will receive gifts.
And I think it's intermission. There's now there's a table in the ring with a pile of gifts on it. Nobody has yet been put through the table.
Don't go under the ropes, kids.
Nobody's fighting yet.
Ah.
Santa's little elf Drex is waving all the children towards the ring to go pick out a present for themselves.
There you go.
This is the one time, kids, when it's okay to do what Drex Odell and TK0 tell you to do. We're halfway through. I'm Ken the Metal Professor, and you're listening to a delayed audio coverage of New Generation Wrestling show from last night, December 15th, in Crawfordsville, Indiana. You just heard the overview of the first half of the show, and here comes the overview of the second half. Fresh off of their attempted mugging of newcomer to NGW Charlie Cruel, High Society is back out to the ring to start the second half of the show. Thomas Keith, Young Money, and the Buck Sexton joining the party to make it a party of three. Lawrence Bonpaffo, Kenneth James. And Jake Carter. It is 3-on-3, and after huddling to develop a strategy, High Society came out and jumped the other three. But after a bunch of ruckus, it's Carter, James, and Bonpaffo that clear the ring of the other three. And now I think we have the semblance of a wrestling match with only Lawrence Bonpaffo and Young Money left in the ring together. And there you might have heard from Ron Butcher the outcome of this match after a flurry of hits going one way and the other. Buck Sexton just pinned Lawrence Bonpaffo.
And the winner, 2 times, the Buck Sexton.
Buck Sexton was not happy with the way Ron Butcher said his name, so he did it himself. Lawrence Bonpaffo is left alone in the ring with Buck Sexton and High Society. I'm not sure where his partners went. I think they already skedaddled. Now Pinnacle FC were sitting over at their merch table, and they're approaching the ring. And High Society quickly bails. After things calm down a little bit, Lawrence Bonpafo has now challenged Buck Sexton to a match on the 26th in January.
You want me? Again. One more time. One more time. What? That's 2 out of 3?
One more time.
Twice, bud. Sorry. You're going to have to come with something a little bit stronger than just a weak challenge by an old man.
You're a young pup. You need some respect beat into you, because apparently your dad didn't do it when you were a little brat.
No, because I kicked his ass just like I kicked yours.
Oh, that's right. I'll need to talk to him on that. What do you want to do, huh?
Well,
interesting.
Hey, shut up when I'm talking. I keep asking questions. Shut your mouth. Well, I beat you in count out last month. I just pinned you this month. Why don't I make you and your geriatric joints pass out, tap out, submission match next month? What do you say to that, old man?
Buck Sexton is up the ante and told Lawrence Bonpafo that he's in if it's a submission match.
But you just accepted, so now you can't back out. Let's also bring out some of my best friends and make it a lumberjack match. What do you say? So you can run and hide.
And a lumberjack
outside
match.
the ring. I beat you twice. I ran. Just because I'm smarter than you doesn't mean I'm stupid.
A submission match and a lumberjack match combined.
Yeah. What do you say?
That's fine with me. You guys want to see it?
Oh! I wasn't done. So, everybody can tell that you're a fan of nostalgia by your stupid haircut. You should have cut that a long time
Okay,
ago.
now Buck Sexton is making fun of Lawrence Bonpafo's hair, which is luxurious and long. This is going too far.
So why not have a submission match where I'm gonna make you tap out? It's gonna be a lumberjack match so everybody can see you lose. And then at the end of it, I humiliate your head. A hair versus hair match. What do you say, old man?
The third stipulation at hand is a hair versus hair match.
You guys want that? You guys want it, I'll do it. But I'm planning on cutting this hair. I've had this hair for a very long time.
Best part is, I know a real good barber that'll make you look your age.
And there we go. Lawrence Bonpafo is going to be representing all of us aged, long-haired hippies at next month's show.
January 26th, Montgomery County Fairgrounds, me versus Buck Sexton, and a lumberjack submission hair versus hair match. I don't think we've ever had one of those, Ron.
I don't think so.
How long have you known me?
18 years.
You ever seen me short hair?
No. It's called Congo. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. It is for the NWIWRAP Hoosier State Championship. Introducing first, he comes to you from the underground. The one-man warrior king, Jason Levi. His opponent, ladies and gentlemen, is the current new generation of wrestling Hoosier State Champion from the Shadow Empire, Bentley Alexander Dawson.
Well, Jason Levi came out for his entrance to the ring, and then the next opponent's music almost played, and then it almost played again, and then it became clear that the entrance music for the next person just wasn't going to go well. So there was lots of anticipation as to who this next person coming out was going to be to take on Jason Levi. And Brantley Alexander Dawson walked through the curtain, and you could hear the disappointment in the crowd. I don't think they like him very much.
This was supposed to be the triple threat match with myself, Bentley, I'll take your title, and Paragon. Paragon was too much of a coward today to show up. So I guess I'm going to have to take your title one-on-one.
Jason Levi explains this was supposed to be a three-way match between Levi, Brantley Alexander Dawson, and Paragon. Paragon is not here. And so now it's one-on-one. Ref Zoran's got things under control, and there's the bell. This match between Brantley Alexander Dawson and Jason Levi has just ended in a countout.
There's no winner for this contest. It is a double countout. And still the NWIWRAP Hoosier State Champion, Brantley Alexander Dawson.
Some nice crisp action between the two for a while, but the action then spilled out of the ring, and Ref Zoran couldn't get them back in the ring before he counted 10. So it's a double countout, and BAD retains his title. Jason Levi retains the microphone. So Jason Levi has proposed a last man standing match between himself and Paragon. I think he wants one more crack at Brantley Alexander Dawson, and so he's proposed that match be a number one contenders match. He's encouraged General Manager Nina Valentine to make sure that Paragon is here. So now she has her hands full. She has to make sure that Justin Myers is here, and she has to make sure that Paragon is here.
So what do you think, Commissioner Valentine?
She may need to hire some extra staff.
Is that going to be a match for next month? Paragon, Chris James, Jason Levi, last man standing. January 26th over at the fairgrounds. The tickets are on sale, $7. Make sure you grab those.
And here we are at the main event. It's going to be Luis Rojas against Jeremy Hadley. A lot of heat between these two, and we'll see if this wraps it up or if it's just another step in an escalating cycle of violence. Luis Rojas just made his entrance from the opposite side of the arena due to the stipulations that he and Jeremy Hadley couldn't share the same locker room. Those stipulations were set up after the previous match. And Jeremy Hadley took all of 5 seconds to get out here. And he is just beating on Luis Rojas. I'll let you know when the match is over or an ambulance is called. The action is finally in the ring. While Luis Rojas was outside the ring before the start of the match, he was grabbing a steel chair. And Jeremy Hadley jumped up onto the top turnbuckle and then leaped out of the ring on top of Rojas. And now Hadley is favoring one of his ankles pretty severely. And I'm wondering if he had a bad landing on that leap. But Rojas isn't exactly springing around either, so he must have taken a good bit of damage from that jump too.
Jeremy Hadley unresponsive, and he has stopped the match. Therefore, your winner, there's no winner.
Jeremy Hadley got sent into a turnbuckle on the outside of the ring. Luis Rojas rolled him into the ring. The referee noticed that Hadley was basically unresponsive and unable to continue, and so he called for the bell. Nina Valentine is coming to the ring to check on Hadley. Lawrence Poffo, even Ref Zorin is out. Luis Rojas isn't really buying it. He's still trying to get in there at Hadley. Rojas had cleared out of the ring a little bit. Now he's come back in with a chair. Rojas just set up a steel folding chair and DDT'd Hadley's face into the chair. And now Hadley is just laying there, face down in the ring.
Security needs to go back over her.
Nina Valentine has hustled Luis Rojas out of the arena back to his private dressing room. And there's a big huddle of wrestlers and security around Jeremy Hadley in the ring.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue with Jeremy Hadley. We'll take him to the back.
Hadley's being carefully rolled out of the ring. Security is escorting Luis Rojas out the door.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will post on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Let everybody know how Jeremy Hadley is doing. And keep you updated with it. I'll get the information from everybody later. Thank you everybody for being here. I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas and a fantastic New Year. I hope everybody gets what they want. Please drive safely going home. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, January 26th, we'll be at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds for our next show. Doors open at 5:30, bell time is 6:30.
And there you might hear Ron Butcher. The next NGW show will be January 26th in Crawfordsville. Although not here at the Armory, it will be at the county fairgrounds in Crawfordsville. I'm sure on Facebook there will be more information about that specific location. Follow NGW as New Generation Wrestling or NGW Indiana on Facebook and on Twitter. And I think this is the last wrestling show of the year that will be mentioned on WVLP. So we'll pick things up again in January.